Hey guys, Kevin Francisco here of YugaTech.com, and today we'll be taking a look at some of the variants of the ASUS Zenfone 2. The Zenfone 2 comes in different flavors with differences in internal storage, processor clocking, and display resolution. In this video, we'll take a closer look at 4 of those models, namely the ZE550ML and 3 ZE551MLs of varying internals. ASUS continued to use their signature design and form factor from the original Zenfone 4, 5, and 6 and improved them a little bit to incorporate to the Zenfone 2. Hence, it's pretty easy to confuse the Zenfone 2 from the Zenfone 5 or Zenfone 6 if you're not familiar with the family. The most obvious distinction from the Zenfone 2 would be the rear volume keys and brushed metal finish at the back. With a 5.5-inch display, the ZE551ML looks huge but still feels comfortable in the hands. Its bezels are also quite thick at 3.3mm, despite the company's claims that it's already been toned down. The Android capacitive buttons are still present at the bottom end, which should already have been replaced by on-screen buttons due to KitKat and Lollipop UI implementation. Build quality is really good and feels solid in the hands with a comfortable grip thanks to that curved back. The back cover is removable to expose access to 2 micro SIM card slots and a micro SD card slot. The power button is found at the top together with a 3.5mm audio port. Volume keys are at the rear, just below the camera and dual LED flash. Of the various colors, we like the red one the most. The placement of the rear key was inspired from the LG G2 and G3, which works as well especially when the device is this large. What's a little odd is the placement of the power button at the top, as it doesn't feel natural reaching for it using the index finger. The 5.5-inch IPS LCD display looks pretty good and surprisingly crisp and clear at full HD resolution. Colors are vibrant as well as saturated. Using it outdoors, there's still some degree of visibility, but the screen is also very reflective, especially under direct sunlight. When indoors, cranking up the brightness at the lowest level is still comfortable. An ideal brightness level would be around 70%. This means the display is still very usable even at lower brightness settings, allowing you to conserve more battery life. The display is also protected by a very tough Corning Gorilla Glass 3 in order to avoid the usual hairline scratches on the glass panel. The large screen is just about right when surfing the web, watching movies, or playing games for a couple of hours. The loudspeakers at the back sounded good and have decent volume range, but did not have much bass in it. The 4 rows of pinholes for the loudspeakers just for the symmetry, since opening the back cover will reveal the speakers to be smaller and flush to the left side. ASUS did a pretty good job having Android 5.0 Lollipop with the Zenfone 2 right out of the box. The ASUS Zen UI looks simple yet really clean and nice with very little footprint, so it feels light and almost bloatware free. The pre-installed ZenLink collection includes PC Link, Remote Link, Share Link, and Party Link. In addition, its Zen Motion allows for gesture actions like shake to screenshot and double tap to wake and sleep. ASUS has been boasting its Pixel Master camera since the first Zenfone, and the Zenfone 2 claims to have better optics, starting with its 13-megapixel rear camera. We took notice that even the sensor on the Zenfone 5 can get good exposure in low-light environments, and that holds true with the Zenfone 2. There are also a lot of options to tinker around with the camera alone, from setting manual ISO, exposure values, anti-flicker, anti-shake enhancements to HDR. Samples show the 13-megapixel rear camera of the Zenfone 2 takes really good photos in general with better results in macro mode. Low-light photos appear brighter than usual thanks to Pixel Master, but accuracy on focus is a hit and miss. The top model of the Zenfone 2 runs an Intel Atom Z3580 processor clocked at 2.3 GHz paired with a generous 4GB of RAM. They work really well with the Android 5.0 Lollipop as navigation and transitions are smooth and snappy. Apps and games run just fine and multi-tab browsing on Chrome is effortless. Here are the benchmark scores. The results of the benchmark shows the 2.3 GHz version of the ZE551ML tops half the tests due to its higher clock speed of 2.3 GHz. In some tests, the ZE550ML got better scores than the equivalent ZE551ML with 1.8 GHz chip because of its lower screen resolution. It's pretty evident that the 1080p display will affect performance of the device as shown by the scores in PC Mark. After running a number of resource-intensive applications, the device gets a bit warm but nothing alarming of sorts. For the 2.3 GHz version, however, we recorded a maximum core temperature of 50.2 Celsius. One of the highlights of the new Zenfone 2 is the dual SIM capability with LTE support. While only the first micro SIM slot supports connectivity up to 4G, the second micro SIM slot can only handle up to 2G. LTE connectivity is pretty strong with multiple speed tests on different locations, yielding 13 Mbps downlink speeds. Calls are clear and crisp on both SIM cards, while SMS handling for the dual SIM functionality is very easy to get used to. As for battery life nominal tests, we managed around 8 hours on a full charge using our standard battery bench at 50% brightness and 0% volume playing an HD movie. We also got a bit over 7 hours when we tested it with PCMark battery test at 50% brightness in airplane mode. As for the 2.3 GHz version, it did almost the same at 6 hours and 56 minutes. It's no secret ASUS has generated a lot of interest in the Zenfone 2, fueled by their earlier success with the Zenfone 5 last year. The new Zenphones come with a familiar and solid design, pretty good hardware with LTE support, all packed in a very price-conscious offering. ASUS has once again proven that you can get a really good, solid smartphone at a very reasonable price without any compromise. The Zenfone 2 is a testament to that. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more videos.